It's interesting you say that because we have an education business. It's called Contrarian Thinking, and we teach people two things. One, we teach them how to buy businesses like normal. My theory was, I was in private equity, I did acquisitions, and I thought, this is not that different. Like what the PE guys do at the highest level, leveraged buyouts, is not that different materially from what you do with an SBA loan or with seller financing of a very small business. You've bought a shit ton of businesses. And so it's not easy. It's actually hard and awful and really difficult in many ways, but it's not rocket science. It's actually not that complex. It's like, simple but not easy. And so we created an education company where we are attempting to teach. We've taught about 10,000 people how to do it. And if the average, the average American doesn't even own a business. And so it's really hard to get good data on how many people will ever acquire a business. But we think it's like less than 0.01%. Like most people will never acquire a business. It's very weird. So if we're able to take, right now we're about 37% of our people who come through our program acquire a business. And it's really important. You don't just acquire any business because there's a lot of risk. But what's fascinating to me is when we started teaching people how to do this, immediate response from many people, and it seems to be like a pervasive, I can't really figure out why, is like, one, if you could do it, why wouldn't you just buy all the businesses yourself, Codie? Why would you teach other people to do it? Two, education is somehow seen as, and there's a lot of bad actors, so maybe why, but it's seen as like lowbrow, scammy, couldn't work, not good, taking advantage of people. And then it's also seen as like maybe not sophisticated. Like, if you were really going to build something real, you would build Trilogy. You wouldn't build an educational based system.
If you can't do,
right.
teach.
Like, why is that? It's so pervasive.
Correct.
And
why? So that is, so if we want to get controversial, so I believe part of my role is to bring capitalism to education. And it is seen that capitalism is evil. For-profit and capitalism are evil in education, just straight out. Know that nonprofit is the only way to do it. And fundamentally, I believe that's part of the problem, which is nonprofit. I gave a talk at Masters of Scale, which is, how to scale big ideas.
Yeah.
And education doesn't scale and the reason is nonprofit means non-scalable. Like if I have a set of donations, right, and I build the world's best product, the better the product, the faster my money goes away. And now I'm done. Yeah. Right? There's plenty of charter schools who have 3,000 person wait lists. And I go ask the head of the school, I'm like, well, why don't you open another campus? And they're like, I'm waiting on a $40 million donation. Versus I had 1,000 people at an info session in New York City who are going to pay tuition to this for-profit. I will have no problem raising capital to open a new building because of its for-profit. Capitalism scales, right? This $1 billion that I threw in, that's not enough to fix education. We have to show what's going on, right? We have to show there's great businesses here. And so, but there's a view, appropriately so, there were bad actors and lots of for-profit scams. We just need to go get the good entrepreneurs who can use capitalism for good, right? Like one of the things we do is it's why we publicize all our academic results. That we are like, guys, don't trust us. You shouldn't trust us. Look at our results, right? And but unlocking human capital.
Well, that's what, and the results mean SAT scores, right?
In this case, academics or the life skills. It's the 3 commitments. Parents are like, oh my God, my kid really does love school, right? And they're like, you actually as a parent, when it happens, you're like, okay, this is great. Then the second part is, okay, they're crushing their academics. And then that third, life skills, when they're launching the food truck, you're like, okay, this is actually what my kid needs to do. Or they're building relationships or whatever that life skill. No, they watch the Tough Mudder. They're like, okay, this was better than my school. So they look at that product. You just need a product focus. And like for yours, here's how I would design the product, right? In a for-profit world. So we have a set of high schoolers who are like, okay, we're going to build a program to be a millionaire in high school. How do you make $1 million in high school? Right. And so they're talking about pricing. Mm-hmm. And so one of their proposals is we're going to charge $150,000 a year tuition, money back guarantee if you don't make $1 million. So it'll take $600,000 of tuition over 4 years. But if you make $1 million, it pays for it. And it's a money back guarantee. So if they don't deliver, back to your point of your scammy, you're like, it's free for the person, right? And it's that kind of product design that no nonprofit would do that. but a entrepreneur who's saying, oh, wow, that's the kind of thing that we should go build, where you have this closed loop where you're unlocking their potential. And then people are willing to pay that. People would make that trade. They're like, wow, if you teach me how to make $1 million, right, while I'm in high school, and it's going to be fun, I'm going to love it, it's going to be all these great things.